I think Brim's brought up in one of his vlogs that he has posted on the websites about how some churches might lack something. There was that ingredients thing I think we remember talking about, and if there's that one ingredient missing, doesn't kind of quite work, like my food tonight. So yeah, and one of those things was expecting Jesus to return. So I think I've got notes here. I'll be handing these sheets out afterwards, so there's just some questions that we're just going to go through. And don't worry, it's not sort of you have to write answers down. I'll just be asking 2 or 3 people what their answers may be. Okay, so if you have a Bible, if you just go to Mark 16:19, please. After the Lord Jesus had spoken to them, he was taken up into heaven, and he sat on the right hand of God. Then the disciples went out and preached everywhere, and the Lord worked with them and confirmed his word by the signs that accompanied it. Now this is obviously the description of Jesus' ascension after he led them to the Mount of Olives, where he just sort of basically said his goodbyes, but he promised his... doesn't actually say he promised his return there, but obviously his spirit stayed with them, and it says it confirmed their works with their signs and stuff. So that's one instance of Jesus' ascension. We're going to go to Luke 24 now. When he had led them out to the vicinity of Bethany, he lifted up his hands and blessed them. While he was blessing them, he left them and was taken up into heaven. Then they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and they stayed continually at the temple praising God. So again, it's not a bad thing that Jesus is sort of being lifted away to heaven. He says earlier on in the Gospels that he's going to the Father. He's basically going where he belongs. Obviously, he also belongs with us, the church. So yeah, I think there's one more. Acts 1, 9 to 12. After he had said this, sorry, I should have read earlier then, but we'll carry on. After he had said this, he was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. They were looking intently up into the sky as he was going, when suddenly 2 men dressed in white stood beside them. Men of Galilee. How do you pronounce that? Galilee. I can never pronounce that. Men of Galilee, they said, who do you stand here looking into the sky? No, sorry, why do you stand here looking into the sky? This same Jesus, who has been taken from you into heaven, will come back in the same way you have seen him go into heaven. So there again is just another instance of his ascension into heaven. It's not up a mountain or just in a helicopter or anything like that. It's up into the sky, into heaven. And angels have obviously come down and confirmed that he will return a similar way. So there's no sort of being born as a child again or such like that. So I think that's what we're going to read about the ascension. We're then going to read about Jesus talking to the disciples and also someone else about his return. So if you want to just turn to Matthew 26. Then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, are you not going to answer? They've obviously been asking him questions and he's remained silent. What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you? But Jesus remained silent. the high priest said to him, "I charge you under oath, by the living God, tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." "Yes, it is as you say," Jesus replied. But I say to you all, in the future you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. And then I actually wanted to say then, does anyone know what happens next?
Yeah.
Obviously you can read on and just tell the guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty angry about it. He says it's blasphemy and he tears his clothes. So I think that was maybe a traditional thing once the Pharisee heard heresy.
Grief thing.
A grief thing.
It's like grieving over the blasphemy.
Thank you, Fran.
Like that.
Smile. Okay, so
you'll put it in, you'll be fine.
more like 400, mate, for a place like that. No, I'm sorry. Okay, so we've gone from Jesus' ascension to Jesus actually telling the Pharisees there that he is the Son of God and he'll be coming back again. So it's linked. We're going to go. That was the only one for that topic. We're going to go back to not too far back. Matthew 24, verse 29. And this is how Jesus will return. Introduce this. This is Jesus talking about the I think it's the signs of the end times before his return. So just so it doesn't scare you. No. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Did I say that was to 34, so it's quite a way. Okay. You can tell I've planned this. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds in the sky with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call. And they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the earth, from one end of the heavens to the other. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will certainly not pass away until these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. I think I'll do a bit extra there. So that's basically Jesus telling the disciples about the signs of the end times and to watch for his return. And it is as noticeable as seeing a tree bloom for summer. So yeah, you shouldn't be able to miss it.